So everyone keeps calling this the future of phones, but is it really? Last week I switched from the iPhone 15 Pro to this Pixel 9 Pro to be my main phone. In this video we're going to see a battery test, how well gaming performs, and take a closer look at Google's unique features that aren't just putting up a fight against Apple and Samsung's latest flagships. This is a phone that's going for the crown and trying to be the best smartphone in the market right now. First, let's get over the unboxing experience. It comes in a really nice paper-like cardboard packaging that just really looks premium. It's well presented and it looks really nice. In the box you get the phone, of course, and a SIM card eject tool, as well as a USB-C to USB-C cable, and that's going to be it. It was nice to see the SIM eject tool because this actually has a SIM card slot, and I actually really like that. I know that eSIM has kind of taken over everything, but if you go overseas to some countries, it might actually be hard to get that as opposed to just a physical SIM. So it's nice to see that option still being offered here. Now, Google released the Pixel 9 in actually 4 different variants. We have the Pixel 9, we have the Pixel 9 Pro, Pro XL, and the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. I wish I could check that one out, but maybe at a future date. Now, the phone to get straight out of the bat, based on just spec sheets, is the Pixel 9. For the price, you're basically getting the same phone, one less camera lens, some less RAM, a slightly worse screen, but I mean, honestly, all these screens look fantastic. But what we have here is the Pixel 9 Pro and Pro XL. Now, I opted for the XL variant just because this year I'm going to be moving to larger sets of phones, even with the iPhones. But it's worth noting that this XL variant is the same size as the previous Pixel 8 Pro. So basically the Pixel 9 Pro is just a smaller version of all the Pixels we've gotten before. So it's nice to actually see the Pro version now have a smaller sibling similar to what Apple does, but I actually think they did a better job than Apple because it actually has all the same features. All the camera lenses are the same. Meanwhile, Apple chose to not give us the 5x telephoto zoom on the smaller 15 Pro. So I do applaud Google for doing that. Of course, there's also going to be a slight battery difference between the Pro and the XL. As for colors, you can get them in porcelain, rose quartz, hazel, or obsidian. So basically black, white, pink, and gray. Now I went with the gray, which is more of a green gray sort of look. It's very muted. It's nice. I compared it a little bit to my 15 Pro and the titanium color, and I still do prefer that titanium color in the back. It's a little bit grayer, and I kind of like that shade a little bit more. The Google version, I don't know, there's a green vibe to it. I really like it. I actually think it looks stunning. It's probably an easy color to go for because it's very subtle. It doesn't attract too much attention, but it's also not, maybe boring like Obsidian might be. And talking about unique, I want to thank our sponsor for today's video, TEMU. Now, TEMU has thousands upon thousands of items in different categories. However, I like to shop in the tech category for things that I can use around my setup and desk to declutter, or even just spice up the vibes a little bit. They have free shipping on items that are shipped from TEMU and free returns for up to 90 days. They also guarantee that you're going to get your delivery, and they have branded products from the likes of Samsung, Xiaomi, Lenovo, and even gaming consoles like the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. Now let me go ahead and show you some of my favorite things that I've gotten on TEMU over the past couple of months. The first one is something that I'm going to be using for this Pixel 9 Pro, and that is a fast charging power bank that is magnetic and MagSafe, so that you can use this and connect it to the back of the Pixel without any cables or anything, or you can actually use a cable and use this as a traditional power bank. I like that it has a little on button, and that's going to tell you the percentage that's left on here so that you exactly know how much juice you're going to have left on here. I also really like the green color. It goes really well with the hazel of the Pixel 9 Pro. Next up is this really cool nightlight wireless charger that is just fantastic. It looks just so cool on my little stand here that I have, and I can just place the Pixel there and have it wirelessly charge while also providing some really nice accent lighting to the bedroom. I could definitely see anyone using this who also light up a nice desk, and I have this weird idea, given how cheap this is, to use this as something that I can stick behind my monitor and light up and down. I don't know if that's gonna work, but I'm going to try it because it's very, very cheap. I also got a really nice wooden organizer that actually worked perfectly to put a little mini printer I have, as well as some accessories and plants, just to make everything look a little nicer. And it's actually built so well and it's so sturdy for the price that it was that I'm super impressed by it. This laptop stand has worked fantastically for my gaming laptop for when I'm gaming. So I'll be doing something on my main monitor, have my gaming laptop on this little side stand, and lets it breathe underneath, and it keeps it a little bit more elevated so that it's easier to see at an angle. And I can play some games with the controller and everything, and it just looks nice and clean on the desk. And moving over to my keyboard area, I have this little cloud cushion, which is really nice and soft for my wrists. It just looks really cool, first of all. And then second, it actually does provide support for the wrists so it's nice and comfy whenever I'm using the mouse or the keyboard, or even if I connect my gaming laptop from when I'm gaming, it's really nice for that as well. Even the desk mat that you see here is also from TEMU. So make sure to download the TEMU app through the link in the description box for more perks. You can use my unique code to actually get a $100 coupon bundle when you sign up for the first time. And you can also use the link in the description to actually see all of the items that I bought off at TEMU that I showed off in this video. Like I have, you can find accessories and cases and all that for all your phones, devices, electronics, desk setup, everything. You can do absolutely anything on there. And I really do want to thank TEMU for sponsoring this video. It would not have happened without them. So now back to the review. Suffice to say, the color looks fantastic. I really like the whole look of the phone. It actually feels amazing in the hand. I compared it to a 15 Pro Max and a 14 Pro Max, and it feels so much better to hold this in the hand. They really did a good job with the overall shape of the phone. Even for an XL variant, it feels much better than last year's Pixel. Just a lot more premium. Google's really nailing this. The camera bar on the back looks fantastic. Overall aesthetics, just a fantastic looking phone. I really don't have any complaints with this device. Now, all these new Pixel 9s are using Google's latest Tensor chip, and really, I don't care about much except mostly battery life nowadays. So I thought, why don't we take a 14 Pro Max, a 15 Pro, and the Pixel 9 Pro and do a quick little battery test. Now, of course, I don't have every variant of every phone, but I hope this kind of gives you an idea of what you can expect with the Pixel 9 Pro that I have here. So here's what I did for this battery test. First off, I went to TikTok and I looped a video on for 30 minutes. Now, all the devices started at 100%. The Max here from Apple has a 100% battery capacity, and so does the Pixel, of course, because it's brand new as well. And the Pro model that we have here, the 15 Pro, is at 93% battery capacity. After 35 minutes or so of this looped video, all the devices were actually still at 100% and hadn't really lost anything, which I found very interesting. Now, where it gets interesting here is when we go to the gaming. I played this game for 30 minutes. I kind of just fiddled with it from time to time, but kind of just maybe let it just idle at full brightness. Everything was completely at full brightness the whole time, so that's also worth noting. And all the devices were on airplane mode. Now we're an hour and a half into all these screens being on, and we have the Pixel at 84%, the Pro at 77%, and the Max at 84%. So the Max and the Pixel, they're both the same of battery loss here, which is actually really good. Now, of course, this is a 14 Pro Max. I didn't have a 15 Pro Max, but it'll be more interesting to see Apple's new iPhone coming out next month to test that out to see how it compares with the Pixel. So that'll be the more interesting test. Now, one thing I had to check was how hot these devices got. And oddly enough, the 15 Pro was the hottest one by quite a bit. And I guess that makes sense. Less of a body size, less heat dissipation, and it's going to get hotter faster. And it was hotter faster, noticeably hotter faster. The 14 Pro Max and the Pixel, those were roughly the same temperature, which is just, a little kind of warm to the touch. The 15 Pro was a little bit warmer than that, where you go like, all right, whoa, is this kind of on the way to overheating sort of thing? That was the case. So worth noting, none of these got unbearably hot, which is really good. And I think, overall, they all did great given that they were on for that long at max brightness. Next up, I wanted to do gaming. I wanted to test out a few of the games that I like playing, like COD Mobile, Rocket League Mobile, Marvel Snap, Timberman 2, Squad Busters, and Stumble Guys. Just a few of the ones that I have on here. And I set everything to the highest settings that I possibly could that the game would allow me to do. I actually played Diablo Immortal earlier, and that one didn't let me go to max settings, which I thought was interesting. So I'm guessing that some games are dependent, if the game actually supports your device for max settings. Regardless, this device performed wonderfully. And in talking about gaming while you're using the phone, it feels very nice. The camera bar in the back is not obtrusive in any way. It's not annoying. It's actually significantly less annoying, if you were to say that it's annoying, than the iPhone camera bump. It's just a little nicer back there. You can almost slot your finger behind the phone to kind of grab it and use it when you're gaming, which is nice. Now, one specific thing that I want to talk about is screen responsiveness. If you're actually a gamer on here, you might care how quickly the screen responds. And with Timberman 2, I wanted to just test out how quickly. And I did notice a slight little kind of like, I can't trust it 100%, but I will tell you that that is because I did put a screen protector on this. I did go into settings and make it a little bit more sensitive, almost perfect. But I would say overall, really good screen responsiveness. I would definitely trust it in some of these more competitive games. However, it's never going to beat just, using a controller if the game supports it, like Rocket League Mobile. That's definitely a lot better to play with a controller than the touchscreen, just because I feel like sometimes you'll miss something just because of the drag on the touchscreen. Sometimes the finger kind of sticks on there. You can see it here the most when gaming. The screen is absolutely stunning. All the colors are incredibly vibrant. I would possibly say that this is kind of a nicer screen than the 15 Pro and the 14 Pro Max. Definitely than the 14 Pro Max. That one's not as bright as either the 15 Pro or this one, and the colors just pop a lot. It looks really nice, not in an artificial way, just in a really, really nice and clear way, especially when all these games with the colors and everything. You can see here in Stumble Guys, you see all those colors. Everything looks very detailed, very vibrant, and it really brings you into the phone and immerses you in a way. Now, if there's a counterpoint for the immersion, it is the sound quality of the speakers. My goodness, unfortunately, folks, they're not great. I don't believe they are even close to the iPhone 15 Pro and all of Samsung's phones right now. These are some low, tinny speakers. Like, I do not like them. In some games, they sound a little bit better than others. In some types of music, they sound better than others. And I was a little bit bummed. Definitely. Some people will say, why would you use the speakers on a phone when you can use headphones? And to those people, I respond, you definitely don't understand what it is to possibly have kids or pets or people in the house where you need to listen and be paying attention. And sometimes you don't have headphones, right? Sometimes you're like, decide to do the dishes or clean the bathroom and you don't have a speaker or anything right now. So you put your phone up and you want to listen to some music. And the iPhones, the Samsung Galaxies, they just sound a heck of a lot better. And you just enjoy the music for longer. Here, I don't feel like I can enjoy the music when it's playing on speaker. It sounds tinny. It doesn't sound great. And when I get close to it, it's definitely that top speaker. Since they only have the little camera circle at the top instead of a whole notch with a larger speaker, that speaker is just so bad. It really belongs only for phone calls. It sounds sometimes with the music like a phone call, if that makes sense. So keep that in mind. If you care about the speaker on a phone, this is not the best. It's not going to immerse you. It's not going to surround you with sound when you're playing games. It's going to sound just all right. It's going to do the job, but you're going to want a pair of earbuds or some headphones to, really be immersed and for it to kind of go hand in hand with this beautiful screen that it does have. And I wanted to go ahead and do a camera test as well. We'll compare it to the 15 Pro. Even though that doesn't have a 5x telephoto, it only has a 3x. We'll just use that because it's not my fault that it doesn't have it. It's Apple's fault because they did something silly and didn't give the feature of the Pro Max to the Pro, but still named them both Pros, and it's just frustrating. But here you can see side A and side B so that you can see which ones potentially you might like more. I would say, look at a few before you decide exactly what side you might like more, just to give everything an even chance. But I took these, automatic, no edits, no nothing. And yeah, I don't know. It's like in a lot of cases, I do like one side more. In a lot of cases, I like the other side more. It just really depends on what you're taking a picture of and when you're taking that picture, at nighttime, daytime, whatever. I will say that the Pixel does excel at nighttime photography, especially the new panorama mode that they added. It just works really, really well. They also have a new Add Me feature that basically lets you take a selfie or a picture with a group and add yourself, the photographer, into that photo, and it uses AI to kind of merge everything together. It's cool. I mean, it's fine. It seems like worse than just, taking a selfie with a group, but I guess it just really depends on the situation. I tried it once and the result was horrible, but nonetheless, a really cool feature to have. It's nice to see phones kind of go back to the Nokia Lumia days where phones actually had a lot of built-in cool little photo features into the camera. But talking about features into the camera, now this doesn't record 8K like Samsung's phones. Now the iPhone, of course, also doesn't record 8K. Will we get 8K maybe with the new iPhones? Who knows? Video quality is really good as well here on the Pixel. The only issue that I find is that switching between lenses isn't as smooth as on the iPhone. It's just so smooth on the iPhone. On the Galaxy, it's fine too, but it could be smoother. If you do video boost the video, it will fix that and make it a little bit smoother. It doesn't matter that that's there because I think the phone should be able to do this from the beginning instantly, and you never should have to video boost a video to make it look as good. It should just look straight out of the camera. So I would just take points away from that for Google. Cool that feature is there, but that really should be, at this point in a flagship at this price, it should be built into the phone. Now you can also use that video boost to up-res the videos, and again, cool that it's there. Not interested at all. That just makes things a lot more complicated. I feel like it's more of a little gimmick feature that's on there, and it's cool that it's on there, but it doesn't gain points from me. Now to reveal which side was A and which side was B from earlier, in case you can't click on the description or anything, the left side is the Google Pixel, and the right side is, of course, the iPhone 15 Pro. Now the thing is that overall cameras on phones have been good for a couple years now, like really, really good. And these little differences, they don't really matter in my opinion. They're all just really good in some cases, and then really bad still in other cases where it's just best to use a DSLR and an actual camera for the job. Another little thing that I just wish that Google would fix is that I hate the preview being lower resolution and looking worse than what the actual image looks like. One weird thing is that it specifically happens with the front-facing camera, but with the back-facing camera, sometimes the picture actually looks better than after it's actually edited or, finally processed, which also I thought was very frustrating. Like I had a set of pictures where on the screen, they were looking very poppy and bright, but once I took the picture, it would come out very washed out by comparison. I'm not sure why they're doing that, why that's happening. I wish there was a way to turn it off. I want the image that the camera is seeing most of the time. Let me add a quick note here about software. I love where Google's going with the software. It looks really nice. They're cleaning it up. They're adding features here. You can now colorize all of the apps. It's still in beta apparently, so all of the apps do not actually get colorized, which is unfortunate. I do wish that was already a thing. It just looks really cool with all the colors. Definitely think this is better than iOS's version of colorize with the upcoming version of iOS. I don't think that looks very good. Now it's beyond me why Google still hasn't added some quality of life updates, such as maybe selecting multiple apps to move them across the screen, because that has been a mess moving everything from iPhone. Samsung makes it relatively easy to do all that. Google is not. It's one of the frustrating things about Androids. Some Android phones will have features that are just fantastic that someone like Google is still not implementing and still not doing. And I kind of hate the double standard where people will criticize Apple and Google here is just doing the same thing, just not adding features. And I don't know why they're not doing it. Just wanted to point that out because moving apps around and everything is just so difficult when you have a lot of them. Now, if you're switching from an iPhone to a Pixel, it's worth noting that you might want to do a couple of things. The most important thing is if you have a lot of apps is to make sure that you go on your iPhone and you make sure they're downloaded before you connect it to your new Pixel, because you sometimes get those apps offloaded into the cloud since you haven't used them in a while, and all those apps are not going to be read by the Pixel. They're not going to be downloaded onto the Pixel. So then you're going to have to look back and see what's missing. Also worth noting that not every app is going to transfer. There will be apps that it won't be able to because they either don't exist on the store or something's up with them. So keep that in mind. I do wish that it somehow could copy the overall placement of where the apps are on the other OS, on iOS. I know that might not be possible, but that would be really nice. But overall, the software is incredibly fluid. It's very clean. It's not full of bloatware or anything. It's still my favorite. I hate using launchers. I don't like using them. I will never use them. That's why I kind of like buying the phone and just keeping the stock software. Now, one other little test that I wanted to add in here was a little speed test. Now, the iPhone was consistently actually ranking far lower. We were in the low 500s. Meanwhile, the Pixel 9 Pro was up close to 900 in the 870s, 890s. I tried it a bunch of times and every single time the iPhone was just quite a bit worse. So definitely for Wi-Fi here, the Pixel definitely has an edge, and it's going to be much better if you have gigabit internet or anything more than that. The Pixel is really going to outperform any of the iPhones right now. Now, if you are interested in 5G connectivity, I personally have T-Mobile here in the States, and I was getting about 200 down with my iPhone. Meanwhile, in the Pixel, I was getting around 40s and even lower than that. I'm not sure what the discrepancy here is, but I tested it multiple times over and over, and I could not get the speed on the Pixel to match the iPhone. So, you know, just a heads up, take that as you will. I do live in an area with really poor coverage where like half of the calls don't even work, and I do have to rely on Wi-Fi calling anyways, or using something like WhatsApp. But it was cool to see that the Pixel did come out that far ahead in the Wi-Fi. So overall, with the Pixel 9 Pro starting at 1,000 and the Pixel 9 Pro XL at 1,100, and that's with 128 gigabytes of storage, it's quite an expensive phone. Google Pixel's phones have been getting more and more expensive year over year. I definitely think that this should start at 256 gigabytes. Apple's phones now start at 128, so Google should be one-upping them by making sure that these devices only start at 256. 128 is quickly becoming not enough for phones. So should you get the Google Pixel Pro 9? Yeah, actually, it's pretty good. It's a really good device. It's up there with the iPhone and Samsung's devices. I would feel that this is better than any of Samsung's devices by a long shot for me personally. This just looks stunning. I think the device looks more premium than anything Samsung has out right now. The camera bar looks fantastic. The colors are fantastic as well. Visually, I think this also looks better than the iPhones that are out there right now. I think Google has made a fantastic looking phone, something that simultaneously looks classic, but very futuristic. Now, like anything, it still has, you know, some rough edges, some issues that I mentioned with the cameras and stuff like that, where like, I wish it was a little more polished in these things and to match iPhone a little bit more. But then again, there are things that this does a lot better. I think the UI here for the OS is just a lot nicer. You can get this to be a lot cleaner. Even though it's not necessarily more customizable directly from Google, you can of course install your own launchers if you want or whatever and really change it up. But I'm talking about the stock firmware that it comes with here. I think it just looks cleaner when you do customize it with the options that it has. I want to end with Gemini, and that's something I didn't mention this whole video because AI is still in its infancy. AI is still a gimmick. It's still something that isn't fully fleshed out. You hit a lot of walls when testing out these products because there are a lot of walls. The technology is still in its infancy, basically, even though it has come a long way in the past couple of years. So yes, does the assistant work incredibly well? Yep, way better than Siri. It's way better than anything Siri could have done. Even the image generation is better than Apple's image generation for creating images. And it works as you'd come to expect. Now, one thing I do want to highlight real quick is my favorite AI feature that Google has built into the phone, specifically in photos here. So there's a bunch of features that you can do. You can replace backgrounds, you can do stuff like that. All that's cool and dandy, but my favorite thing is very simple. You click this button right here, then you can go ahead and click down here and click auto frame. You can also turn any picture into portrait, but this is what I like. She's not on center here. It's off frame. Look at that. That is fantastic. Look how quick that was. I just wanted to show you a real-time demo of literally my whole favorite feature on this phone that would kind of change things for me in a photography level, that would make things much easier, is the fact that you can just take the picture and later on just fix it real quick with a little click. And look at that. It completely looks super natural. It doesn't look photoshopped or anything. And you get different versions too. You get this variation that's close up. So it looks like you kind of took this with a professional camera. It's so perfectly framed and stuff. And I just like that it also shows you the original so you can see there what it's doing. But you can go ahead and click OK and save that. And now you have a perfectly taken image that you didn't have to worry about in the moment. So you don't have to specifically frame your subject perfectly. You can just do that, and here you have a perfect image that you can share with the whole family. Now, in case you wanted to see the portrait feature, you can see it already has quite a bit of blur in the background and everything, but here we can just go ahead back and take it into here, click portrait, and it's again going to generate a couple of variations of this image that are going to make it look a little bit more photographic, like it has better lighting or whatnot. So we can go through these and just kind of see what we like more. And you can also get more results, but here we zoom in a little, you can kind of see the difference in how it changes the lighting to make it look like it's maybe more professionally lit. And that's just also awesome. So very quick, very easy to use editing features that literally anybody could use in a couple seconds. And that is my highlight kind of standout feature of AI on this phone. The reason that I mentioned this all the way at the end is because this is not a reason to buy the phone. At least I don't think it should be, and I don't think you should be looking at this phone just for the AI features. It's just something that I feel is not a core component of a phone at this moment. They don't work well enough. As much as this is significantly better than anything in the market right now, at least is being built into a phone, it's not better really than ChatGPT's voice to talk. And again, when you really delve deep into talking to these guys, they really hit walls. They struggle with a lot of things. And obviously that might change over time. And that might be a reason to get this phone. Maybe in a year, AI is the reason to get this phone over other phones. But right now, that is not the main reason. For me, battery life, OS, and design trump anything else, really. So yeah, I think of it, if you get this phone, you're gonna get some really neat cutting edge AI tech. Now, to get the best of that, you do have to pay a monthly subscription. Now, Google's giving it away for 1 year for free. Regardless, it is a really cool feature. It's a really cool phone. And if you're interested in it at any bit, I would say definitely go out and just get it. If you're looking for an Android phone, this is, in my opinion, the best Android phone you can go out and get right now in terms of literally everything. I wouldn't take a piece of this phone and swap it out with anything from Samsung's devices of lines, for example, because this is just a really polished, really, really great Pixel phone from Google.